Ba, 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 ba. Okay, good. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Coffee Q&A. I'm Jay. Welcome to the show. How you all doing this morning? Hope it's going well. We do coffee questions and discussions every weekday morning from Monday through Friday and from 10 a.m. until we're done. So how you all doing today? Great to see you. Welcome back. Today's question, we're going to get right into it, is comes from a guy named GlenAnndre Mendoza, and he's asking, just want to hear from you guys, looking for what we are longing, the end game of pour over grinders. I'm done with espresso. Lol. All right, GlenAnndre, here's obviously, in case you're wondering, he's not really done with espresso. He's just joking about that. But, you know, the end game of pour over grinders, or just the end game of grinders, that's really an interesting thing. I think I have a very different perspective than a lot of people that are out there looking to make coffee. And that is, I guess in some ways I'm relatively easy, right? Especially for home brewing. But professionally, we're always looking for something. But I do think that there's a point where you reach that is just great. And I don't know if the advancements are worth the expense. And so what I mean by this is that, here, because I work in the business, and I have my own places, I have access to a wider range of grinders and equipment and all that. And a lot of the equipment that I have sitting around is stuff that we've stopped using in the shops or whatever. And it's a professional. Like, for example, just off camera here, I've got an extra Mazda Major Auto. Whew, that's a beast. So, and that's for a little tiny E61 machine that I have here, the La Valentina, which I really like. So, to me, there's no real need to go for more than the Mazda Major Auto. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of people will argue about EK43s and all these other machines, but really, I don't think you need to worry so much about it. What you need to worry about is technique and understanding the way to make the coffee and how to make better coffee. Keone, aloha Keone, how are you? Oh, in Taiwan now. Nice. Excellent. Good to see you. Welcome. Michael's here. Good morning. And then Mom, good morning as well to you. So that's kind of like my basic thought, is that I think that you can buy a great grinder and never have to worry about it. Like, for example, for the last few days, we've been grinding with this, the Baratza Virtuoso. This is one that I bought used. And I always say this because I think it's important to reinforce this. I bought this used in 2007, and it's 15 years later, and I'm still using it. This is perfectly capable of making really great, enjoyable coffee. I really don't know if you're really noticing the nuances that people say that you're going to notice. I really don't. And I'm someone that actually will look for nuance in coffee. Another grinder I wanted to bring up here was the Cuisinart. This is the Cuisinart. You can't really see anything there. Okay, so this is the Cuisinart home grinder. I bought this 20 years ago for $35 from Costco. And why did I buy this? Because this is actually a conical burr grinder. I'll show you. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to tell you to go and buy this, that this is legitimately worth buying. But as you can see here, there is conical burrs. I mean, they're not cutting blades, but they are conical burrs. So, I can't, if I was to tell you to buy this, I should lose credibility if I was to say that, but I'm not saying that. But I just thought, when I bought this, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I used it to try it out. And it's a $35 grinder. Better than a Whirlybird blade grinder, but not necessarily that much. Maybe we'll do a video about us exploring this more. Another thing that I got, because I'm a dealer, have been a dealer for Bodum, was this Bodum. There is a top for it, which I don't know. Basically, I broke the hopper. So we never sold this, right? This was actually going to be for sale to guests. We broke the top of the hopper, right where it attaches, so it doesn't attach anymore. And then I called Bodum and I was like, hey, can you send me another one? We broke it, so we'll buy it. No, we don't sell those separately. What? What? Bodum, you don't sell the hopper separately? Like, it actually really pissed me off. We stopped selling these. I was like, we're not going to sell these anymore. But anyways, you can see here, the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is conical burrs. Actually, these look actually really nice. I really don't know because I've never used it, so I can't say the quality, because what am I going to do? Sit here, hold it? I'm not going to do that. I'm too lazy for that kind of thing. Even 20 years ago, I was like, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so this reminds me of a story. So a friend of mine, a really great friend of mine, down in Austin, Texas, a few years back, he was getting into espresso. Like, he was really getting to big way. And he's the kind of guy that, he's done very well for himself. So he could buy pretty much anything he wants. So he basically was like, I'm thinking about the GS3 from La Marzocco. What do you think? I was like, well, excellent choice. Excellent, excellent choice. So he goes and buys the GS3, and he buys whatever grinder. And he's like, what should I? I was like, then he was like, I'm thinking about a better grinder. And I'm thinking about the, what is it? I want to say Escasso. It's not Escasso. Escasso is a cigar. It is a Chiado, the Chiado espresso grinder. And the Chiado, if you're not familiar, is a Spanish. I think they're Spanish. They're a Spanish company that makes professional level grinders, like really nice quality espresso grinders. And the nice thing about them, they have this little knob at the top of the neck where the grinder, the hopper meets the grinder. They have this big knob that you can turn to do fine adjustment. I really like that. And so he was like, hey, can you get me one? So I called up Chad. I was like, yeah, can we get one of these? It's several $1,000s for this grinder. And he was like, well, do you think it's a good grinder? And I'm like, well, look, I said to him, look, I think this is how I'm looking at it as a coffee professional. I'm like, look, you buy this grinder, you will never need to buy another grinder for the rest of your life. Really? I said, yeah. It's just like this Major Auto. You buy that, you never need to buy another grinder. Like, you are set for life. Like, there was a time when you could buy the Major Auto for $300 used, because Starbucks was unloading them. If you decided you wanted to, you didn't have to. But if you decided you wanted, you could just go out and buy new Mauser burrs, 83 millimeter burrs, put them in, and the average home consumer would never. I can't imagine the average home consumer, would probably never go through enough coffee in order to require burr replacement after that point. So he buys this Judd. I buy it for him because I got him a discount, right? Because he's a good friend of mine. And so I was like, all right, here it is. Shipped it down to him. And he's using it, having a good time with it. Maybe 6 months later, he's like, I'm thinking about another grinder. I was like, what? What are you talking about, dude? It's like, and so I had to have a conversation one day with Hoon, like from Tucson, Hoon from Hoon's Coffee. Him and I become buddies over the last couple of years. And we've actually never met, but we've only talked online and on the phone. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, dude, what's up with the one? Because, in the YouTube sphere, and you guys will all know this, like, you guys watch YouTube videos about coffee. And I'm like, well, there's so much gear reviews and so much gear stuff. And I do a little bit of that. I won't deny that. But I'm not really that interested in it, right? I'll do stuff that I'm interested in, but I don't want to be a gear review place, right? And I was talking to him, and I was like, well, what's up with that, man? Like, what's with all the gear stuff? He just like, well, and he broke it down to me. And I don't know why he needed to be the one to break it down to me, because, I'm a guy just like the rest of us, and prone to being sucked into the rabbit hole of whatever pursuit we're into. And he was like, well, the guys, it's all about the gadgets. Everybody wants to try the new gadget. Maybe it'll make it better. They're not really getting better, perhaps, but they want to try it. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, okay, I get that. I totally understand. So, which means that the reality is about the end game grinder is that there is no end game grinder. None. It's impossible. Right? If you're an enthusiast that really enjoys the pursuit of coffee and the tinkering and playing around with, the different gadgets and trying to make really nice coffee, there will never be an endgame grinder. I think everybody else in the YouTube sphere will tell you that there is this endgame grinder. There's this holy grail of this holy grail of that, but it'll never end. It never will end. You could have the Weber ES1, and one day you're going to be sitting there thinking, I wish that I had something else. I want to get the next cool thing. So that's the basic lie. There is no endgame grinder. But my best advice to people, if you're really looking for a nice grinder, buy a nice grinder. You never have to worry about it. Really, if you buy a nice grinder, Barista Virtuoso. If you want to buy the Mauser Major, fine. Spend a little bit of money and buy a nice grinder and be happy. Where I think people should spend their time is find nice coffee, right? Find nice coffee. Keone says, my old grinder broke down on me, so I went overboard and got a Lagom 01. See, I don't even know what that is. With the 102 millimeter blind burrs. Excellent. Great grinder, but I really do underutilize it. Hopefully it will last longer. I mean, I think my Barista Virtuoso will outlive me. Heck, this thing will outlive me. Probably because I don't really use it. But I do think that if you buy nice quality gear, you'll be able to have a lifetime of beautiful coffee. Just buy nice coffee. That's really the nice thing. Oh, speaking of which, since Keone, you're in Taiwan, there is a guy, Berg Wu, buddy of mine. I know him. Not as well as others, but I do know. Berg has a place in Taiwan. Let me look it up here. I can't remember the name of his shop. It's probably, if you have the time, Simple Kaffa. Simple Kaffa. Let me pull up his Instagram here. See if you can see it. Sorry, I don't have all of this fancy overlay thing, but he was the barista champion back in 2016. Berg Wu, Simple Kaffa, Simple Kaffa.com. Go check it out. It's Berg is a great barista, really interesting stuff. It's probably worth your effort to go visit it. There's also a beef noodle joint that I can't remember where it is. That was the beef noodle. A buddy of mine who I'm no longer buddies with because he was like very upset that him and I didn't see things politically eye to eye. Like, I don't know, some people, they just get so upset. Like, I'm just like, if you like Trump, I mean, that's up to you. I don't really care. But I'm certainly not going to not tell you that I don't like him. But he was the one that turned me on to this place. Is this it? Yeah, this place. If you can see it. I went there a few years back. I don't know what that means in English. But my gosh, this is some hella good beef noodle soup. Very, very excellent. Very excellent. Actually, that's the only thing that I have marked in Taiwan that I really liked. So hopefully that'll be nice. Hopefully I find that helpful. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about brewing the coffee. We're going to try this. Actually, let's try the coffee brewing on this ancient grinder. Screw this back on. Now that we're thinking about it, just like, what, why don't we just brew in it? Okay, here's already a problem, right? I guess the cord is kind of short. Like, come on, man. We want a little bit longer cable so that we can reach to the wall. Okay, that's as far as I can get it to stretch over. So we're just going to say there's a medium setting. I'm just going to put it there. I don't really know if that's going to work. We're just going to try it out and see what happens. Where's the coffee? We're going to use, again, this Sitio Bellis from the Philippines. Really lovely. Oh, Keone says, I just looked it up. Unfortunately, I'm in Kaohsiung, but visit here a couple times a year as I am working with traditional Paiwan. Oh, I'm presuming that the Paiwan is the name of the native people of Taiwan, because my understanding, and I don't really have much of an understanding, that on the island of Taiwan there is a native people that is separate than the Chinese, kind of like Hawaiians from the rest of the people that are have invaded the islands. Is that true? All right, let's measure. Again, we're going to do 24 grams. There we go. You know, I don't really drink coffee in the morning, but, you know, whenever we do these shows, this is actually when I get to drink coffee. All right, so let us see here. We're going to take this, open it up, pour the coffee in. So there is a slider here that I guess is for time. It's a very fast grinder. Wow, that's really fast. There is a lot of, because it's so fast, there's a lot of popcorn effect without the weight of the other beans. And as you can see, it's really fast spinning. Wow, that's a bit crazy. Right, let's look here. Eduardo, good morning. How are you? So as you can see, there's a bit of clumping. So even though it's set to medium, it's like really in the dead center of the medium setting. There is a bit of clumping, right? So we'll have to address that, I guess. Let's prepare our filters. Okay, filter. And put this in here. We're going to pour this all. We did see some clumping when it was in the container, so I'm going to just, you know, EDT it with my finger. And let's get our... So Cutie says, yes, it is one of the indigenous peoples here. There are a lot of cultural similarities to northern Filipino tribes, and the language is the foundation for... Oh, I didn't realize that the migration patterns of Polynesians included the people from Taiwan. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so let us look here again. We've got our... Oh, we'll heat up the water just a little bit more. We're going to put this back on our scale so we can get our timer together. What's the best way to do this? Like this. Maybe that'll be a nice way to brew. It's always trying to figure out what's the nice way to present to you guys. So today is a Thursday. It's the last day of February, and the leap year, as you know. If you're in the area of Bethesda, Maryland this evening, come down, and you like cigars, come down to Capital Cigar. I'm gonna be there to host the Ono Live Coffee and Cigar Show starting at 7 p.m. tonight Eastern. We're gonna be smoking. We're gonna be joined. Well, Reinhard Porek from Mirfel Cigars is going to be giving a tasting, and so we're just going to be broadcasting that and participating in that. So it should be a really nice time. So if you have the time, and you're in the area, come down to Bethesda, or if you have the time, check out the Ono Live channel, my alternate channel here, and we're going to be broadcasting starting at 7. All right, here's our water. Great. At the old shop, I was using induction. Here, I'm using a portable butane burner for the gas, and actually such an interesting difference between the way they heat. All right, we're starting. So let's, we're going to incorporate, what we're going to do 85 grams. 84 is fine. 85 grams of blooming water, like we talked about yesterday. Saturating all of the coffee to make sure that it's wet, and just starting off, we're going to wait 30 seconds, and then we're going to start pouring. And like we've done in the past, like I said, I like to just raise the the water bed, like to about there. Everything's saturated now. And we're just going to maintain and hold that water height in the pour over for the entire time that we're dispensing the water. I'm going to let it fall a little bit, but then we're just going to bring it back up. We're not going to fill it too high. We're just going to bring it to the same height. Have a little bit of a cold. So right now we're a minute 15, 185 milliliters of water. We want to be right around 200 at 2 minutes. We're probably a little bit ahead. Next pour, I'm probably going to look to hit the darker parts here. I kind of like having more even tones as far as the, as the brew progresses, it's going to get more and more blonde on the top. I always think that's an indication of how much extraction we're pulling. I mean, more and more blonde. All right, 239, we're at 210. Any plans for the weekends? I don't know what I'm planning to do. I was thinking about it just yesterday, but now I can't remember what I was. You have these times you just can't remember what you're thinking anymore. Like someone asked me, what would you eat? Like yesterday, they're like, what'd you have for dinner last night? I was like, I don't remember. Very strange, very strange. All right, we're at 300. Just over 300 now at 3 minutes. So 3 minutes. We're still kind of full here. It's going to run longer. This whole thing we really need to do is, I'm going to bring it to the 350 now. There we go, 350 milliliters of water. And then we'll finally get a chance to see what this $35 Costco grinder is going to be like. I don't know if they still sell this. I don't even know if they still make it. But I use this actually here at the house for many, many years, just because everything else was at the shops. So I was like, this is good enough. Because I don't really make coffee at home. Not normally, not historically. I just kind of like do my own thing. And, because when you have your own shops, it's for me, I think it's easier just to go to the shops and have coffee there, especially if I want an espresso, because you know what? I tend to be kind of messy. Like grinds will go with places. And you know what? I don't want to clean. If I go to the shop and, my staff is working, I can either I either can make it myself and then everything's already set in motion for cleaning, or I can just ask them to make it for me and it's just as good. So I don't know. It's always been a little bit charming in that respect, right? So let's see here how we're doing with our brew. I think that's good. All right, yeah, that's good. That's good. We're going to take that off now. Get the scale out of the way. All right, this is the Philippine Sitio Bellis. Ground on the Cuisinart, the cheap Costco Cuisinart burr grinder. So there was a lot of fines, a little bit of clumping. You can taste that. Meaning that there's a little bit of bitterness to the coffee that wasn't there in previous brewings. Like the other, it tends to be a sweeter, brighter, lighter coffee. This one definitely has more of a. There's definitely a little more bitterness, and I think it's because there's much more fines in the grind. Probably the burrs. The burrs are burrs, but they're not like slicing burrs. I really don't have any. Do I have? I'm looking to see if I might have any examples of burrs lying around here nearby. That would be comparison. Let's say like, yeah, everything's packed away. But if I was to show you let's say a Moser grinder burr compared to this one, day and night, really day and night. Michael says that cup is great. I have the same cup at home, but I don't know how does. Oh, this. Oh yeah, this is the Riedel water glass. Yeah, it's probably a little bit hot. I tend to have a little bit less sensitivity in my fingers for heat, probably because of all the brewing and coffee and handling of hot equipment and cooking that I've done over the years. Not that I have calluses or anything, right? Like if you look here, it's not like my hands are super callous. They're pretty supple. I do put lotion. Okay, no, don't put lotion. I'm just joking about that. But yeah, these are great. These are great. There was actually a glass that Riedel used to make that I broke all of the ones that I had. They called it their wine tasting glass, and it was basically kind of a smaller stem glass that was more neutral in shape. But I understand they discontinued it. Like I think it was Dave Arnold who was telling me that, or was talking about this, that they discontinued it. I was like, or no, it was Andre Mack. Andre Mack was one talking about this, that they had discontinued this. And I wasn't sure which model he was talking about, but I'm presuming that it was that one because I haven't seen it in quite a long time. But yeah, I love the thinness. What I really like about certain glassware is the way that it contacts your lips, right? I think there's just something so nice about that. Like the glassware, the porcelainware that we'd use at the old Cafe d'Espro was very much selected because how does it perform? How does it fit? How does it feel on your lips? How does it deliver the liquid to your palate? Like even this one, this is one of our commemorative mugs from Hamden Spros, the one that has the 5-year logo on it. And this one, I really liked it because it's just a basic mug that we would use for coffee service daily, but it has a nice thinner rim that I think is just more comfortable on your lips. I'm always about like comfort on lips, that to me is very important. What is beeping? And then Keone says, my wife used to just drink the 3-in-1 coffees, but now insists that I make. So is your wife from Thailand? Is that right? Because I know that in Southeast Asia, like my family's from the Philippines, 3-in-1 is super popular. Or is 3-in-1 only a designation they use in the Philippines? Maybe your wife's Filipino. Either way, because I know they have the Kopi. There's a brand in Malaysia that I saw, Kopi, Kopi something. Kopi something. And but I gotta be honest, like in the old days, the Nestle 3-in-1, I kind of liked it. I even bought a whole string of them one time. I was like, I'm gonna buy all this, and I never brewed it because I don't make coffee at home. It's terrible. It's the cigar. It is the cigars. It is the cigars, Michael. It is the cigars. And yes, she is Thai. Oh yeah. See, so sometimes you give things away, but one of the girls I go out with is Thai too. Beautiful, very lovely woman. Actually, I tell you what, I grew up here in America, right? So with American girls, whether they were Filipino or local girls from back in Hawaii or something like that, when I started going out with this Thai girl a few years back, we would go out to eat. And I can remember we're at the restaurant and she's like making my plate for me. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm thinking, what are you doing? You don't have to do that. I'm thinking in my mind, you don't have to do that. I can do it. I'm an American guy. I can totally do it. I'm my own man. But then I thought, you know what? This is what she wants to do. This is her style. Why should I encroach on that cultural difference? So I got to enjoy it. anyway, but there it is. So let's back to our topic at hand, the endgame grinder. I really believe there is no true endgame grinder. Like whatever grinder that whoever's promoting this year or this month, that's supposed to be the grinder to end all grinders. Next year or next month, there'll be another grinder to end all grinders. So really, unless you want to chase all of that, and certainly if you have the resources, you want to, you should totally do that, right? Like you've seen the videos probably that are on this channel of the coffee wonderland from my friend Greg Skage's house. Like he's got like amazing level of equipment, like all sorts of gears just everywhere. And I'm like, my gosh, man. Now he both is an enthusiast, but he's also an expert in the field who does a lot of equipment testing and proving for manufacturers. So they'll send him a lot of equipment, but some of it he's buying on his own. Like he's the kind of person that's super like into things. Like when he bought his Sony camera, you know, me, I'm buying a Sony camera for this kind of work, this YouTube work. I'm buying what I can afford. He's buying the top of the line, like A1. I'm like, dude, you bought the A1? He's like, yeah, it's awesome. I was like, yeah, it is awesome. It comes along with a fearsome price. Maybe when I get to be a big YouTuber, we'll do that. But anyway, so that's my basic thought. You know, is there an endgame grinder? I don't think so. Buy a grinder that you really like, that really fits your needs, and enjoy it. Like there's so much more to explore than just the grinder, right? The different coffees that are available, coffee's changing all the time, things like that. All right, so hopefully that helps. Or hopefully I didn't waste your time. Again, if you have time, come down to Bethesda tonight to Capital Cigar. Come down around 6:30, 7 or so. Show starts at 7. And we'll be down there, so come down and join. And then what else did I tell you? Tomorrow our show is going to be about the Kaya Toast. And Kaya Toast is this thing that they serve at the kopitiams of Malaysia and Singapore that is made from coconut milk, sugar, and pandan leaves with some egg. And it's really interesting. It's really super popular. And we're doing that. We decided we're going to do that, a little bit discovery on that, because Saturday's video is going to be about our visit to a kopitiam called Chung Guan Hainan Coffee, 1956 in Malaysia. And Michael says, yes, I agree. I like your approach. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Yeah, because I know a lot of people like want to push gear. Like you need to buy gear. You don't need to buy gear. Stop buying gear. Like I don't even want you to buy like I don't want you to buy even those like WDTs. Like don't buy that. Or at least find a cheap one. Buy that. Temu is a great place. You know. All right, Mom, have a good one. And then Kim says, I remember when everyone was saying that the 64 millimeter grinders were the thing. But it's like, yeah, I mean, 60, you know, theoretically, the bigger the millimeter diameter, the cooler, the better the grind, right? The cooler the grind, the better the grind. But it's always changing, right? Like we always talk about cooler grind, and then Nova Simonelli is like, we're going to heat the grinders, right, with their Mythos Plus. And it's like, okay, then suddenly, everyone's like, yeah, that's how you're supposed to heat it. It's like, well, I thought we're getting away from heat. Now we're going towards heat. So there's always something out there, like Mazda Major Auto. I bought this one used probably 20 years ago. 2004? Yeah, 2004. 20 years ago. I bought that 2004. 20 years ago. It's still a champion grinder. Champion. Like people are still buying new ones today. Yeah. Anyway, once you get to a certain level of grinder, you're really kind of golden. I'm sure a lot of guys will disagree, and that's fine. Bring it on. All right, so we're going to sign off. See you guys tomorrow. Back again at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you have a great one. Thank you very much for tuning in, and see you next time.